This is, what do we call this panel?
Kubert School.
The Kubert School panel. I'm Adam Kubert. This is my left-hand man, Anthony Marquet. I always get your name wrong.
I'm his left-hand man.
He's my left-hand man. My right hand, if he was my right-hand man,
yeah.
I would get his last name right.
It's all right.
Okay. So again, welcome to the Kubert School panel. The way we're going to handle this panel, I'm going to go through a quick slideshow, explain as best I can everything on the slideshow because I haven't seen this before. And then we actually have a raffle that we're holding. We're going to be pulling the winning raffle ticket, I guess on Monday. But it's a drawing that my brother Andy penciled and I inked, or I'm going to ink, which is why this panel took so long to get started. I'm going to ink it on the overhead projector, and then we'll have a Q&A at that point. So if you could hold your questions off until I start drawing, I can draw and talk, just like I can draw and chew gum sometimes. So we'll get started. The Kubert School. Front of the building. As a matter of fact, we just had the building completely redone. And we lopped off half of it. The whole building is completely new, air conditioning, the whole bit. There's a beautiful Walgreens out past. So this is in beautiful Dover, New Jersey, which is actually about 40 minutes from here, 40 minutes west. This is called a mansion. This is where we house some of our students. We have students that come in from really all over the world. I don't know how many students we put in there. How many can we shove in there?
That's a good brush. Is this on?
Yeah.
We could probably fit it up like 40.
Can you guys hear Anthony okay?
Is it not coming through?
Maybe bring it closer.
Can you guys hear? There we go. I'd say we could probably get like a good 30 kids in there.
30 kids in there.
All together.
So
I have to just say something really quick.
Go ahead.
When I first heard about the school, it was really interesting to me because, for someone who really loves comic books and always wanted to attend the Kubert School because this is my dream and whatnot, it was really interesting to hear that at a comic book school you got to stay at a place called the Mansion. Because I was like, how incredible is that? The X-Men have the X-Mansion, and now I get to go to a place and stay at a place called the Mansion at a comic book school. So that was my total little geeky little nod of information I had to give you guys.
This is what we call the X-Mansion.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Next. We have a full-service art store on the premises at the school. It's run by Andy's wife, Teresa, my brother Andy. And anything you guys need would be there. This is our lovely reception room and waiting room.
That's just recently been redone as well.
Right, that has been recently redone. One small tidbit of information, you guys might not even care, but it's in Dover. I grew up in Dover. I actually went to this school in 7th and 8th grade, this building. And there was nothing weirder. There used to be a full court gym in this place. That's part of that we lopped off. But climbing up, when we first got the building, climbing up on the bleachers, I looked behind the backboard. Everybody signs their names, scribbles, and does whatever. There were people's names that I recognized on the back of it. I was like, you guys don't care, I can tell. This is okay. Now our library. We should get some new slides. Okay, this is our older library. The content is still there, although it looks, we have in our library, everything is up to date. Computers, printers, Xerox, and reference. I mean, anybody that draws knows how to find reference. I mean, I drill it into everybody's head. I also teach at the school, as do my brother Andy, and 18 other teachers. Anthony is what do we call it? A teacher's aide?
I'm a substitute teacher.
Substitute teacher?
I handle the labs in the afternoons.
Right,
And,
right.
whatever else is needed.
We'll go into the labs and we'll let you talk.
Sure.
This is my brother Andy. He looks like he's what? Confused?
He's busy critiquing the students' artwork at that point.
Yeah.
go ahead.
For those of you who may not know, the classes that we hold, we'll give an assignment. At the end of the assignment, we'll have a critique. Everybody puts their work up and describes what's good about the work, what's less than good about it, and how to improve it. This is the way everyone learns. So this is a critique that my brother Andy is holding. Andy teaches narrative art for the second year. I teach narrative art for the third year. We also have a couple other more well-known teachers. Jan Dursema, who's been working at Dark Horse for 20 years, drawing Star Wars. She's an instructor at the school, as is her husband, Tom Mandrake. He's a teacher at the school. My dad. We also teach animation. We used to have a full 3-year course in animation, but to tell you the truth, we just couldn't keep up with the technology and the cost of keeping it up. So we do touch on animation. We have all the animation stands still, but we no longer have a separate course in that. Every year, I think it's once or twice a year, we have a meeting with, what do you call this?
It's like an advisory panel.
Right, it's an advisory board. These people come in, these are movers and shakers from the industry who know what's going on, what the current trends are, how different things are done. So they come in, out of the, because they believe in the school, they come in and go over our program, give us suggestions, and in return we feed them. Joe Casada, my dad, Stan Mataloni, the other guys, Richard Bruning, and I think that other guy is from Archie. Yeah, it's from Archie. I know Victor Gorlick usually comes out to that also. He's the publisher of Archie Comics. One of the big advantages to go into our school is all the major comic book companies come to our school looking to cherry pick our graduates. For those of you who are trying to break into the business, you know how difficult it is to to make appointments, to see editors, to see people in the business. People, representatives from DC Comics come out. I think I may have a picture. No, that's not. Representatives of DC Comics, Marvel Comics, Archie Comics, Nick Barucci from Dynamite came out this year. They review the third-year portfolios, and a lot of guys, obviously not everybody, I couldn't put a percentage to it, but it's beneficial to both. It's beneficial to us because the graduates are able to speak one-on-one and with these representatives, and it's beneficial to the comic book companies because they get first dibs on all our guys. I also want to say that the third year takes a trip up to DC Comics, and they have meetings with editors up there. You want to fill them in on that?
Yeah, I would love to talk about that. I remember the first time I got to go up to DC Comics. It's the most incredible thing in the world. Everything you think that it's going to be like. You get off the elevator, and the first thing you see is Metropolis when the elevator doors open up. I'm not joking. It's literally like on the wall. It's Metropolis right there. And you walk in, and they put you into a room, and so you're already buzzing about it. You already got all this energy, and then out of the kindness of their hearts, all the editors come into a room, and they meet with you, and you sit there, and they take the time, and you review with all these different editors. Now, I don't know how many of you guys that are in here are going out onto the main show floor and trying to show your portfolio around, but I wish you the best of luck to try to meet with 9, 10, 11, 12 editors today, in one day. Because that's what you get when you come to the Kubert School and you get the chance to go up to DC Comics. We had the opportunity to meet with 9, 10, 11, 12 editors, literally. We got to show them all this kind of stuff. And the type of feedback that you get from them is, it's incredible. You can't get that anywhere else, and it's a great privilege to be able to get that while being at the school.
Let me also add that it just comes to mind that the focus of the school, I mean, it's a 3-year school. It's a very, very difficult program, and it's difficult for a reason, because it's not going to, you know, once you get out of school, it's not going to be any easier. It gets harder. I mean, the students are in the classroom from 8:30 until 2:30, and then they have an hour and a half lab in which they have to stay there and do their homework until 4. Anthony, also, you can fill them in on the lab that we have.
Sure. The lab is, you have to do it. Basically, you're allowed to work on whatever projects that you would like to work on in the afternoon in the lab. The way they look at it is, if you're at the school, you should be working on something. Now, for everyone, you guys should know drawing a comic book isn't easy. It's not what you think it is. A lot of people think you can just sit there and draw a page in 15 minutes and ta-da, you have, you know, a comic page. No, it doesn't work like that. So what we do is we give the students a chance to be able to get some extra help to make their pages a little bit better. So if they are struggling with something, they can come up to a lab instructor and say, hey, can you explain this anatomical problems, this way we can fix it up. It just allows them to have that type of extra help that they wouldn't be able to get outside. So that's basically what we do in the labs.
Great. We also have a number of school trips that are mandatory. Students go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, they go to the Museum of Natural History. This was a picture that was when the Bodies exhibition was in New York. A lot of these people, a lot of students that come have never been in New York City. And personally, I mean, I love going. I happen to have taken them on this trip. But to see people, you know, all the students' eyes light up when you first, you know, enter Manhattan, it's really great. But you can learn so much, and we try to show them as much of our business and outside of our business, because we're all, you know, we're creative people. You can get your inspiration from everywhere and anywhere. So it's important to be, you know, showing all these things and you know. Right.
Yeah.
We used to go to the Frazetta Museum, and this is where this picture was taken. For those of you who don't know, you know, the Frazetta Museum is not there, so I'm just going to quickly go through that. Right, Frazetta, I mean, this was really, really awesome. I'll stop here for a second and just talk. I would bring my class, first-year class. I used to teach the first year for about 10 years, and again, I'm teaching the third year now. But I would take the whole first-year class out to the Frazetta Museum. Frank would come out, talk to all the students, explain what his process was. I mean, I just wanted to get close to the guy and hope some of that magic rubbed off on me. So it was pretty incredible. Again, like Anthony had described, the students go up to DC Comics. This is one of the portfolio reviews done by Brian Cunningham up at DC with one of our students. Again, another editor going over one of our students' work who just happened to have gotten
Yeah, that's Eddie Berganza going over Gary Brown's artwork.
Right, Eddie Berganza and Gary Brown. And that's Clark Kent in the background.
Yeah, he's taking notes.
He's taking notes.
Gary Brown actually was working on Brian Wood's book, Massive, for Dark Horse. I'm sorry. Yeah, Gary Brown wound up getting a Batman job out of that appearance there. And then now he's working on Brian Wood's book, The Massive. So that's just one of the alumni that's doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, Gary Brown was from Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talks like he's got a mouthful of marbles, right? Okay, we also had a number of people come out to the school and give talks. We just had Lee Weeks came out a couple of days ago. What was the other show?
Andre Simonovich, who works on Image Comics, Hell Yeah.
Right,
Last year we had Scott Wegner of Atomic Robo, Jenny Frizen, who was doing covers for DC Comics. We try to keep it lively at the school to keep the interest up for the students, so this way they can meet the guys that they really enjoy their artwork, and you know, they can get some extra tips from other people rather than just the regular faculty at the school.
This picture is a Q&A with Nick Lowe and C.B. Cebulski. Nick Lowe is the X-Men editor, the mainline X-Men editor up at Marvel. C.B. Cebulski is actually the talent coordinator up there. So really, to have an opportunity to bend these guys' ears and ask them questions. It's really, you know, we're fortunate to, you know, to have them and you know, that they're interested in coming out to the school. I mean, I think this is probably a representation of what we're doing at the school, and I think I know we're doing a good job with the students. And I think this is just an indication of it. And there he is. There's Anthony.
That's my bald head. That's why it's really easy to find it.
And who are you talking to there?
I'm talking with Charles Wilson. He works on Stuff of Legend. I don't know if you guys have read that book. If not, you guys should definitely check it out. It's really good.
And this is, again, this is a picture of part of the lecture series that we do hold at the school. Bill Sienkiewicz, Rags Morales.
That's just a scholarship money.
Okay. But he's also, I mean, he's doing a lot, he's directing some animation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I forget his name. He's gonna kill me. This is Ali Garza from Wildstorm. Sandra Hope from Wildstorm came out to the school. The whole Wildstorm crew came out. Jim Lee. And you know what? Who's that? Who's that handsome guy right in front?
I have to make sure I erase this out of there.
This one will never leave the slideshow. Do some fun things. This is obviously a Halloween.
Yeah, we have a costume contest every single year at the school because, like I was saying, we like to keep things lively. We want to have fun at the school. You know, it's a comedy geared school, and so you know we try to do different things that are a lot of fun. So we have a Halloween costume contest every year. So if you could just imagine, you have guys right out of high school. You also have guys at different ages that can come to the school as well. So you have guys that are like 40 years old getting dressed up, and everybody's walking around and having a good time. But it's a lot of fun.
I mean, we are all artists, so you gotta express your creative side, I guess. Twice a year we have open houses. We have an open house in the fall and an open house in the spring. Our next open house is what, next week?
Saturday, yeah.
It's next Saturday. It's really a good time where you can come out, talk to the teachers, look at all the facilities. Andy and I are available as are most of the staff. And it's just, it works out pretty well.
Like you were saying, the open house is next Saturday, so if you guys get a chance to come on out to the school, it's from 1 to 4, so please feel free to come on out. You don't have to schedule anything, come on by, be given a card, you can sign your time, we'll bring you on a tour, get to meet Adam and Andy, bother them a little bit while they're waiting in the lobby, and then, you guys have a good time, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask while you're there.
You can log on to our website, which is kubertschool.edu, get all the information you need on there. I think they're looking for them to RSVP. Is that correct?
You can RSVP, but it's not mandatory. You can show up for like a cold.
We do have free cookies from Costco. If you guys are interested, please somebody. We also have a number of scholarships available to the school, or through the school. There may be a total of $20,000 or $25,000 available. Nothing for the first year, but for the second, going into the third, or the first going into the second, we have and we just started a new scholarship.
And then we have the Wave Blue World Scholarship. And then we just also got the...
we are going to have a scholarship in my dad's name. So that's another thing. I just wanted to go through, these are some of the slides of some of our graduates. Charles Wilson, he was one of the gentlemen that we were having a lecture with, lecture series with, and this is some of his work. I think what I'm going to do now, should I...
You can just flip through real quick.
Okay, yeah. David Nakayama, I think he's doing a lot of work at Image. Lee Weeks, who again, he lectured this past week. Matt Hollingsworth does a lot of color work on, obviously on Daredevil, but he also does it on, I think, all of the Hellboy stuff. And I mean, Matt's been around, he does a lot of stuff at Marvel everywhere. He's like one of the best. Mike Ugunel, he's doing a lot of work over at Wildstorm or Image.
He's actually a storyboard artist now for Spider-Man, the cartoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maury Hollowell, I think he just colored a cover of mine not too long ago. He's really, really great color artist. And he also came to the school and spoke. Toby Cypress. And I think that's the end of it.
That's really it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do now is I have the sketch that Andy did. I'm going to try to improve it when I ink it. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm going to try that. And if you guys have any questions, you know, for me or Anthony, you know, we could start taking that. Okay?
I'll switch spots. All right, so if you guys have any questions, please don't be shy. Just raise your hand and I'll like point out to you guys and you guys can ask whatever you want. Whether you're wondering what he's doing while he's thinking or if you're wondering if there's a certain technique that maybe you should try, please feel free to ask, all right? Now, all the money raised from this drawing is actually going to go to St. Jude Children's Hospital. So if you're interested, please feel free to swing by our booth. It's $15.25. It's right next to the Archie booth. Tickets for the raffle are $5 each, and we're going to pull the winning ticket on Monday. We'll call the winner and let you guys know if you want. There's a pretty blonde-haired lady that's at the booth. That's my wife. So you know, just make it quick. All right, just pick up the raffle ticket and keep on going. I'm just joking, I really appreciate it, okay?
Now let me first say is I don't normally ink with markers. I usually do it with dip pens. I really didn't know what to expect doing this. So I'm using tools that A, I'm not comfortable with, B, I don't normally use, but I just wanted to keep it as simple as possible.
That's just a nice way of saying when it comes out really great, you guys get to just bestow a little bit of more compliments on it.
And when it sucks, I don't have to worry. If you guys have any questions about where I start, why I do what I do, I can try to explain. What I'm going to do first is probably just the outline, and then I'll start filling in blacks. I'll start rendering out of the black.
What size micron are you using right there?
Number 3. Number 3. I don't even know if it'll work.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
One. For the teachers in the school, do they have to be accredited or certified in order to teach? And number 2, do you still do the correspondence courses? And could you maybe talk a little bit about that?
I can answer that. No, the teachers are not certified. Teachers are all working professionals. That's part of the appeal of this school, is that we have real world experience. And we're all currently working in the business as, you know, as Andy, my brother Andy, as I am, Jan Dersma, everybody at the school is currently holds a professional position. You know, we all submit syllabus, you know, to the school. We're fully accredited, which means you can get student loans. There's VA loans available. But the accreditation committee comes through the school once every 5 years, and they go through our program, go through our books, they're a real pain in the butt, but they go through everything and they really make sure that that our program is up to snuff. Like I said, what we also do is we have an advisory board come in and meet twice a year. They go over our program to make sure, you know, we're not missing anything, because, you know, you can get lost in our own little way of doing things. So we need that outside information to keep us on the straight path. So no, we're not professional teachers, but we are all professionals. What I tell my students is that it's just as much their responsibility to suck the information out of us as it is for us to disseminate as best we can the information to them. So, you know, I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm just concerned, other than the art, is there an academic portion to the school? In terms
No, it's just an art school. I mean, we have figure drawing, we have layout and design, narrative art. There's no, I mean, we do touch on.
There's like no English homework, math homework?
Hell no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And for the second part of your question, the correspondence course is it's ongoing, yes.
It is still ongoing?
Yes.
Could you maybe just talk a little bit about it?
There's different types of correspondence courses that you can do. I know there's horror, there's narrative, storytelling, there is heroes, I think I already said monsters or whatnot. But what you can do, if you're really interested in the correspondence course, feel free to come on over to the booth. We have all the information that's necessary. But the way that it works is you'll get the packet in the mail. And what you do, it's at your own pace. It's not meant to, rush through. I would suggest doing it in a good amount of time, but not so much time that months has gone by and you're not really learning. So what you do then is after you're done working on the project, you send it in. One of the instructors at the school will take your project that you did, and they'll make corrections on a piece of tracing paper over it. After that, we mail it back out to you. You read over all the notes that the instructor has put on there, and you try to apply that into the next assignment that's in the correspondence program. And that's basically how it works.
Yeah. You expand on the correspondence course, and then you have like 5 or 6 of them down the aspects of teaching the school.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
The correspondence courses, you guys can expand on that from what you have right now. Like maybe cover other topics that you cover in the school.
I can answer that. The question was, are we going? Who asked the question? Yeah, are we going to expand on the correspondence courses?
Yes, I know you have about 5 or 6 or so.
Right.
Expand on that.
Right. No, we're not. We're not going to be expanding on that, but we are. We're actually looking to repurpose all the content in the correspondence courses at some point in the future. I know that sounds vague. I don't really have a definitive timeline, but that's what we're looking to do. Kind of update it and rather than actually send it through snail mail, able to submit the stuff online, get your, it'll be the same content, the same information, but updating it.
It's around $18,000. Yes.
Well, okay. As long as we're touching on that, I mean that's just the tuition.
Then there's housing, which is
Then there's housing.
Around 5,000.
Housing is about 5,000. How come I feel the need to repeat everything you said? And then there's also art supplies. Some students feel the need, and it's completely understandable, that they need a job while they're attending the school. I wouldn't dissuade anyone from working, although the school, it's a hard school. I mean, you're in class from 8:30 to 4 o'clock every day, 5 days a week. You have 10 classes, 2 classes a day. So there's really not, you're there. If it's at all possible, you're there to draw. The way you get better at drawing is not by thinking about it, not by reading books, not by looking at other people draw. The only way you're going to get good at it is by doing it, and by doing it a lot. As instructors, we're there to kind of point you in the right direction and correct you when you go off the path a little bit. It's really up to you to improve and get better and listen and all that. So really, it's there's a lot of sweat, but there's a lot of reward with what we do. I mean, if this is something that you really love, nothing will stop you from doing it. And it's pretty cool. You can feel. I mean, what I do, or what I used to do in the first year, I would take a copy of their very first assignment, and 9 months later, I would take that same assignment and put it next to the last assignment, and we would have a critique. Hopefully, it's better. Most of the time, it is. So really, the improvement that happens, even in 9 months, is really amazing. And after 3 years, our graduation. At graduation, we put up 2 or 3 pieces of each student's work. At graduation, I can't believe the quality of the work and the amount that these students have improved over a short 3-year period. I mean, I've been drawing comics for maybe like 25 years. I wish I improved as much every 3 years as they do in 3 years at the school.
No, it's the truth. I remember my first assignment that I ever did forever. I think if I ever saw it again, I would take it and throw it in the fireplace. So this way there was never any evidence that it ever existed because it was that bad. But it's true what he's saying. You know, every 3 years. I mean, if you could really improve that quickly every single 3 years, it would be amazing. I think they say that you have to devote 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. And I believe that if you took the total number of hours that we devote at the school as a student, it hits just about 10,000 hours. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that leaves the school is an expert at what they're doing, because that's not the case. I don't think you can ever really call yourself an expert, but that's just my own personal taste. But you will definitely get to that point where you should have something that looks professional quality.
You will.
Yeah.
Two questions actually. One, do you have courses on digital art as well as?
Yeah. Actually, Jan Gerson that teaches the digital painting course. We also we have a Cintiq there now that we use. We have the students interacting with that a lot. All the students have the Wacom tablets that we mess around with.
Well, all the students are required to buy a Wacom tablet, not the one that they draw on the screen.
It's almost like a lap one, so this way you can use it. It's great because it's exposing the students to things that they might not have ever done before. And touching on the fact that we do the digital painting class, we have all of our lettering is done digitally. We also have to teach traditional lettering as well, but it exposes the students to different things that they might not have ever done before. And the more that you know, the better chance you can get a job in different facets of the business.
My second question, on average, how long do you find that it takes for students, maybe yourself, to work on a sequential art page from start to finish?
For myself, it's really different for each artist. I think, I can't really point at anyone and say anything or how long it should take because I don't think that's fair. For myself, I can say that if I was to take a scripted page and try to turn it into a finished piece of artwork, if I really needed to, I can get it out in one day, but I'd rather take about a day and a half to finish up the entire page to the quality that I would really like. I mean, for everyone else, it's different. I can't say.
It really depends on the artist. It also, who asked the question? I wasn't watching. It depends on the artist, and it depends on the amount of detail that's required in that particular page. I mean, I can do a page, I've done a page in as little as 2 hours and as long as 3 days. It really depends on the page. Average, we'd like to do a page a day. I mean, there's 20 narrative pages in a book per month. So if you do a page a day, you're doing all right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure.
What if these students working two sessions a day, 10 sessions a week, do many of the students reach a certain stage that they burn out at all, or is their motivation really driven to the extent that they push everything out?
So you're asking if the students burn out at all at a certain point?
This is a real concern really, because if they're working from 8 to 30, right through to 2:30, then that's one session only.
Right. Well, that's 2 classes at that point. There's also a lunch involved, so it's not like we're holding a whip, just beating them down the entire time. Draw on that page, then. No, I mean, we break it up so this way it's not killer for them, but they are working while they're there. I mean, there's no magical, answer for any of it, but if you want it bad enough, you're going to work hard as you can to achieve it. So the students really push themselves. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary for a student to have to pull an all-nighter here or there. But then once you become a professional, it's not out of the ordinary to have to do that either. So, I mean, basically what you're learning at the school is true professionalism and hitting your deadlines. Because if you can't hit your deadline, then you can't keep your job.
What I do in my classes, I try to, I mean, it's a balancing act as to, who asked the question? I wasn't looking. Okay. It's a balancing act, how much work to give. You don't want to give them too much work where, you know, they're not going to be able to do their best work, but you don't want to give them too little work where it's easier, they're sitting around with nothing to do. So you know, myself and all the teachers are different, but as far as myself and my classes, I'd rather err on the side of giving too much work and pulling back. If I see they're going crazy, if I see the bulk of the students in the class aren't getting their stuff done, or they come in with, you know, most of them are coming in with droopy eyes, I mean, we're not looking to kill them, but we do want them to be working. So, you know, I mean, it's kill them first, then pull back a little bit.
Classes graded, or are they a critique only?
Oh, no, there are grades that you get. The way that the grading system works at the school is it goes from an A to a C minus. C minus is considered failing. A is considered to be like professional work. B, you know, you're right there. C, you need a little bit more work, and then if it's anything under that, you know, we would hope that you were pushing yourself a little bit harder. But yeah, we critique everything. Majority of the instructors have a critique where upon completion of the assignments, we put them all up on the board. And like what Adam had touched upon earlier, you know, everyone will get up, we'll all say what we think could be a little bit better, what is great about the image, and we take it and we learn from it and hope to use it in the future.
I got here a little late, so I may have asked this question that I've already asked, but what are some other careers that the students will graduate from? Kind of really know what are some other fields and careers that
Okay, who asked the question? Okay, the question is, what different fields can you go into? Almost anything in the visual arts. A lot of our guys go into directing. You know, I mean, right now they're directing animated shorts, animated cartoons, storyboard work, animation, illustration. What we really teach, I mean, yes, we teach storytelling. That's the main focus. But we teach how to draw. You know, I went to school, prior to attending my dad's school, I originally went to school for medical illustration. I have a 4-year degree in it. I went to the Rochester Institute of Technology. And I could render a kidney terrific, but I couldn't draw it out of my head. After having attended my dad's school for 3 years, I could, you know, it's still difficult, and it's still difficult for me today, but I can draw a figure up, down, sideways, this way, that way, a lot easier than not. So once you have that ability under your belt, you can do almost anything. You know, as far as, like, I mean, we teach painting, digital painting, you know, like I said before, we have figure drawing, which is one of the most important classes we have. You can apply that to anything. One person asked, you know, do we teach any digital courses? Well, you know, yes we do. You know, we teach a lot of digital courses, digital painting, but all these things are just another tool. I mean, if you can draw, you can learn the tool in 2 weeks. You can learn Photoshop in 2 to 3 weeks, not proficiently, but you can learn it good enough. But what you can't learn without a significant amount of, I don't want to say without a significant amount of instruction, because you can learn this on your own without going to school, but it will, you know, chances are it will take longer. I forget where I was going.
It's all about the different types of jobs.
Right. Well, yeah, like I said, you know, the doors are wide open for you, you know, after you get out of the school. And also, let me say that once you graduate from the school, it's not kick you out, see you later. You know, we're all about keeping in touch with the students. I mean, obviously all the social media you can, it's a lot easier to keep in touch with people once they leave. I hate to say it, but one of the things that makes it difficult for me to keep in touch with RIT is because they don't keep in touch with me. You know, the last time I heard from them was when I graduated. You know, we have jobs, we have people come in all the time to the school looking for, you know, and to be honest, they're looking for artists that will work cheaply. You know, students. We don't really, I don't know if we give students too much work because their #1 priority is their schoolwork. But we have, you know, an alumni that stretches, you know, everywhere. So we're able to hook, you know, potential clients up with alumni fairly easily.
Okay.
Normally what I would do is I would outline everything first with one pen, probably the same pen, and I'm pushing down harder in places, pulling back on other places because I think the variation in line gives the drawing energy. But really, I'm not inking, and I don't know what you can see. I'm not getting really that far on it, but I'm drawing. I'm not inking. You know, I'm trying not to follow. You know, I'm following what Andy's doing, what Andy has done, but I'm actually thinking in terms of drawing. Yeah, what I'm going to do is, because time is so short, I'm going to actually try to lay in some blacks. So, you know, at the top part, I'll do the bottom part I'll finish that off later, but I'm going to treat the top half of the drawing as if that's all there is, so I can at least get some sense of finish here for you guys.
I'll do it this way. You can do that. Yeah. When the portfolios are reviewed at school, we want to see that you have an understanding of art. Really, I know that seems like a general answer, but what I mean by that is that you have a desire to want to learn more. We want to see that you have an understanding of, you know, whether you want to be a comic artist or if it's some fine art type stuff, but that the desire is there. That's what's really important, because if you're not coming to the school with that desire, then you're going to be an undesired person. You know, you're not going to want to push forward through all the stuff that's going to go on. Like we were saying, you know, you're going to be working really hard when you're at the school. But if I was to tell you what you should have in your portfolio when you're showing it at the school, what I would suggest, this is my personal thing that I would suggest to you, is since I think the school is geared mostly towards comic book type artwork, I would say definitely have some narrative art pages, maybe a cover, a splash, something like that. I would say shoot for at least 12 pieces of artwork to show. I'm not saying that it all has to be comic book artwork. It can if you would like it to be, but it doesn't have to be. So if you have some fine art that you have at home that you want to like put in there as well, it's fine. If you have sculptures or anything that are too large and you can't, you know, send it through the mail, we suggest you just take a picture of it. Please put it in the portfolio and send it along. We don't specify in manga and whatnot. What I mean is, like, we don't teach certain styles. Everybody has a different style when they draw anyway. So if you wanted to draw manga, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Basically, what we really want you to learn is good storytelling with your artwork, good narrative artwork. Because whether you draw manga or you draw, you know, American comic style, whatever you want to call it, the key to a good comic page is good narrative storytelling. And it doesn't make a difference what your style is. You just have to know how to tell the story through pictures, because if you can't tell the story through pictures, then you're ruining the whole illusion of the comic book. And then we have only a few more minutes, so if you guys have questions, I'll try to answer them as quickly and to the point.
Quick
question for you and for Adam. In your opinion, would you rather work with a script that tells you step by step in detail what to do and what to add, or would you rather just work with a loose script and basically telling you, oh, just put in wherever you think is necessary?
For me, it's either one. At the school, you're taught basically no matter what script you get, you can still go in and make a change to it if you feel that you can make it a little bit better. If you read the script and you see that something's missing, and you realize, hey, if I could insert a panel here and I could make this work better, the flow of the page would work better, I would want to do something like that. Now, I'm not saying you just go ahead and do it. You contact the editor, talk with the writer about it, like, hey, how do you guys feel about that? Is it okay? It's a collaborative effort amongst everyone. But if you can see that you can make a better change in the script to make the story work better, then definitely I would say go for it.
Who asked the question? I don't think it really. Okay, my preference would probably be to have a full script. It's just easier. I know what the character is going to say. The writer isn't looking towards what I do to put words to their mouths. I'm looking to see how he envisions the story, because the story originates with him. So I want to know what. It's easier for me to know what he has in mind and draw it. It just seems like a little bit more of a backwards way to do it, in my opinion. Again, I've worked always. I had a great time. I did AVX Versus #1 with Jason Aaron. He wrote me a one-page plot, and I turned that into 10 pages, and I had a blast with it. And then he put the words to it. It was a nice synergy. So it was very time-consuming. It was fun, but my preference is to do work in full script. At the school, we work the students in all ways. We give them a full script, plot. They also do writing on their own. So they got to be ready for anything, pretty much.
All right, last question.
I just missed the name of the school.
I'm sorry?
I just missed the name of the school.
The Kubert School? Okay, one more question. Everybody's got one. Anything? All right, sure.
How many students here?
How many students are at the school?
What's your student body?
We're close to 85 students. So that's basically what we have per year. We have 4 first years classes. We have 3 or 2 second years? 2 second years, and then we have 2 third years as well.
Are they all required to stay on campus? Can they have housing outside, or do they commute?
No, we do have housing. I think we do have housing for the students who come in from out of town and who choose to live in close by. And we suggest that they do live close by because there's a lot of traffic and it takes time to get there.
Sure. I commuted myself. I drove 20 minutes every single day to come to the school. But it's fun. I mean, the main thing in all of this is the dedication. And if you have the dedication to come to the school and you really are coming there to learn, to get better, you'll do it. No matter how far you have to go, you'll make sure that you get to the school. We don't have that much more time.
One more thing I'd like to add. You asked, the question was also how many students that we have. This year, I'm not sure what we're doing right, but we're doing something right. We had twice as many first-year students this year come in than last year. For some reason, I was just talking to Lee Weeks out in Artist Alley. He came a few days ago. He says, he was telling me how much energy there is at the school, and I think it's because there's more people there. I think because the majority of the people there feel fortunate to be there, and we all like the same thing. It's almost like having a comic convention every day, which is really the reason that I like to teach at the school, because I get as much off of them as they get off of me. It's an energy that, here they are, they're paying to learn what I already do. If ever I start to take things for granted, I think about that, and it's really it's a small school. Everybody knows everybody by their first names. Everybody knows the teachers, and You know, I give everybody Andy's personal email so they can call him and talk to him whenever they want. But it's a good place if this is what you want to do. You know, one other thing, it's also in the first year, it's also a matter of finding out what you don't want to do. You know, there are students that don't come back into the second year because they find out that, I think I want to draw comics. I'd love to draw these little things in my, in my homeroom class or history or whatever. But when they find out that, the amount of knowledge and the amount of work that goes into what we do, they find something else. So it's just as much a matter of finding out what it is you want to do by coming to this school or any other school. There's a ton of other schools that have narrative art, right, and comic books. But it's just as much finding out what it is you want to do as what it is that you don't want to do.
Great. So I just want to say thank you guys very much for coming on out today. It was much appreciated. If you guys like to swing on by the school booth, we're at 1525 right next to the Archie booth. Legendary's right behind us. It's much appreciated. If you guys have any questions, please contact the school. You can check out the website, kubertschool.edu. And we also have the open house next week, like I was saying, 1 to 4. So definitely check out the website and come on by. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming.